Greetings and welcome to Breaking Through with E.P. It is indeed a pleasure to be back with you on today. And today we have a topic that you're going to be very, very interested in. I have a very, very dear and special guest that I had the honor to meet about a year or so ago. And his name is Derrick Warfel. He's a writer, director, and a producer. We got a lot of information to tell you about what Mr. Warfel is doing right now. You're going to be very impressed. And you got some things to look for in the future as well. This man here is making it happen. And I love it when a writer, director, producer make things happen. I find that a lot of times I know a lot of people in the industry, and they're sitting there waiting for something to happen. But he's what I call a mover and a shaker. Okay, well, welcome, Mr. Warfel. I'm going to call you Derrick, okay?
Fine with me.
Thank you for being on the show. And by the way, he was so gracious to come at the last minute, and I'm so thrilled to have you here. Let's talk about your life as a writer, director, producer, filmmaker, and I'm sure you have other titles. Now, just tell me a little bit how your journey got started. Were you a writer first and then a filmmaker or a producer?
Yeah, well, I came out here about, the 80s to go to USC Film School. And I wanted to communicate some values I have in my own life, and I went through the film school there and graduated and promptly became unemployed.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
That's the way it works in this business.
Right. You're on course.
Yeah, yeah, right. And so I made the big mistake of deciding to be a writer, because that's probably the hardest way to go. And because you can take years and even decades to get even just marginally good at writing. It's a very difficult craft. Most people think they can write a letter, they can write a script, and you can't. There's so much involved in writing. You're creating an entire world with believable characters, with a theme. You have to do drama. You have to. It's a very difficult thing to do and do well. That's why, I mean, you know how many bad films are bad films out there, you know. So
true.
So. And I'd been writing for a number of years. I had a number of my scripts either sold or optioned.
Oh, good.
And but they didn't get made, or they didn't get made the way I wanted them to. And so I decided. I directed some short films. And the one nice thing about going to film school is that at least you know how to do the whole process. And I decided I was tired of waiting. And there's this kind of movement right now in filmmaking called, greenlight yourself. Instead of waiting for somebody else to say, you can make a film, you just decide, I'm going to do it. And the cost of digital equipment, bringing the costs down, I decided I needed to try. So a couple years ago, I decided, well, I'm going to write a script that I can do on a low budget.
Okay.
And because I know how to do
it. Is it low, close, and no budget?
Yeah, I can't say what the budget is, because I'm still trying to get distribution. But yeah,
it's low. Okay.
Very, very economical. And I tell people it's under $1 million. There's tricks you can do in terms of writing to keep your costs low. You have a small cast, you don't have a lot of extras, you have a few locations. Mm-hmm. You know, there's just things you do that, and you can get a lot of production value. And so I basically wrote the script, and then I thought, well, am I going to do this? And I finally decided and a couple of years ago now, because I've been in post-production for a while, I basically, started to gather some team around me. And, of course, doing a feature film is a lot different than doing a short. It really is. I mean, a short, you kind of get people together for a weekend and you do it. Mm-hmm. Feature, it's a lot harder. And so,
tell me, though, how do you build a team that can buy into your dream?
That's a good question. I think the big thing is I don't know. A lot of people haven't run their own business. I've never have. I've kind of worked for other people or just been independent. I mean, I've worked as a real estate agent where you're kind of on your own, or I've worked as doing different jobs where you're on your own. But I mean, actually, you hire other people, and I realize there's real skill to that. I'm a nice guy, and you kind of want to have everybody, come on, come on, and you realize you can't do that. You have to be selective. And I made a couple mistakes early on of people that I was going to try to gather to come along with me, and I had to basically back away and say no. And I spent a lot of time just interviewing people at that point. My director of photography, I interviewed a number of people, 5 people, all of which who could have done a good job. But I had to decide, no, this is the right one. And I was really excited. A guy called Michael Milliken, who's worked as a camera operator for a number of years, had been a DP on a number of commercials, and I was excited. And he came on board and did an amazing job with the film.
Do you barter with these people, or do you have to pay them?
Well, excuse me?
Do you barter with them, or do you pay them?
Well, no, I pay them. I believe that you need to pay. I don't pay much, but I mean, I do believe that if you're going to get people to work for you, you've got to really pay them. And fortunately, in Los Angeles, a lot of people who will work, and some will work for free and all that sort of stuff. But if problems come up, they're gone.
Right.
So the idea of a low budget film is you basically keep your costs low, but you offer them a credit on a script that they like, that's a good film. And I think the big thing I ask, getting back to your initial question, is why do you want to be part of this film? And
good question.
And then I just shut my mouth. I say basically, I'm not paying a lot of money. It's a small film. It's a low budget film. Why would you want to work on this film? And then I shut my mouth and see what they say.
So do you listen to what they say or what they don't say?
Both. Okay. I mean, I want to know, are they on the same page with me? Do they want to make, if somebody says, well, I'm not doing anything better this week, or I just want a credit, or just, I mean, generally, I've got to see something in them that they're excited about something in the project. Okay.
So now you have this script, you got this team that sees your vision.
Yes.
Okay, where do you go? I'm talking about your first project. Now, where are we going now? You got your team together, and you got this low-budget film, and you got your director of photography. Where are we going now? I want to hear the journey to your first
it's kind of the journey is kind of chaos. I mean, I'm a very organized person. I had all these charts. I was going to do this and this week and this and this week, and it never worked out. I mean, I was there 2 months before production, and I realized I was in big trouble. It's like watching a train wreck happening.
Oh, wow.
And at that point, I realized I was going to get a production manager on about a week before the shoot, because I was producing the thing as well as directing.
Were you doing everything?
I was doing
pretty much.
I was a little bit too optimistic, and trying to keep my costs down. And I realized I had to get a production manager on earlier. And again, I found somebody. I was just they say that there's no atheists in foxholes. I don't think there are in filmmaking either. And, praying, Lord, help send somebody along. And I get this phone call from a friend of mine, and I said, I'm really looking for somebody. And he says, well, Amanda's not working right now. And so I immediately make a call to Amanda. This is a very talented lady called Amanda Nugent, who's since gone on to production manage other projects, and was a production manager for Roger Corman. And so she's a very talented lady. And I think she worked with, I'm going to forget the name. But she came on board and just saved my derriere. And she just did an amazing job. I mean, because we had to do casting, and I'd been casting small films before, and I knew, well, you just go in, you cast, and you go out and shoot the next week. Casting features a lot different, and I was casting for 2 weeks and getting nowhere. And
you couldn't find the actors.
I couldn't. Well, I could have cast somebody, but it wouldn't have been the best person.
Okay.
And in desperation, I called up an agent friend of mine. I said, "Do you know anyone who's a casting director or assistant casting director who wants to move up?" And she gave me this one name of this lady called Neely Gurman. And I called her up and I begged her. I said, "Look, are you doing anything right now? Would you be willing to work for a week? It's not much money, but for a week, it's not bad money." And she said yes. And she brought in just an amazing talent of people. I cast 2 people, but she brought in the other 3 leads. A guy called Bruce Michael Hall, who's a soap opera actor, just very talented guy.
He's also in your upcoming project too, isn't he?
This is the one. No, this is the one he's in. Bruce Michael Hall.
Okay. Is this the project we're talking about now?
Yes, the Fall of
Got it. Okay, because this is your first feature.
This is my first feature.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
Bruce Michael Hall. He is just a very talented guy, and everybody who's seen the film comments on his acting. Not as well known yet, but I think he's a very talented guy. Another is, I was very fortunate, the casting director had contacted agencies, and she got me in touch with this one lady called Persia White, who's pretty well known. I don't watch as much TV as others, but she's been a lead on the TV show called Girlfriends, which just finished their 8th season.
Okay, pretty woman. I saw her.
Very
Yeah.
pretty woman, and very talented lady.
Mm-hmm.
She also done a lot of other things. I saw a reel from NYPD Blue and some other things.
Mm-hmm.
And she came in. It was a kind of a different casting choice, but I thought about it. I thought, she might be just the right person for this role, because I was looking for something a little different. Mm-hmm. I wanted a very attractive lady who could have been seen as a former model.
Well, that was her.
Yeah, and she came in, and of course she did it, just nailed the part. She did an excellent read, and I was very fortunate she was even willing to audition, because obviously she's got a lot of credits, and fortunately we got her, and
yeah, also had Tony Longo.
Tony Longo, who's a very well-known character actor. He's been in a number of films as a character actor. He's Mulholland Falls, How to Lose a Guy in great little part in How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. He's been in a number of TV shows as a regular. He always kind of plays the tough guy.
Now, did you pay these actors scale, because they have the credits?
Oh yeah. No,
so they came on board.
Screen Actors Guild has this thing called SAG Indie, which has different contracts for low-budget contracts, and I signed up for one of the low-budget contracts that made sense to me.
Okay.
It gave me a lot of flexibility, but it was a very decent role, and it allows actors to act legitimately under SAG and follow all the rules, and I had to follow all the rules, and I got to say something too. Screen Actors Guild is great. I mean, I agree with what they do, and I think their SAG Indie program is excellent, and Anthony Hanna at Screen Actors Guild did a great job.
Okay.
If the best actors are in SAG, and if you can afford to go SAG, it's right.
That's true.
Yeah, so
I testify to that. Okay. All right, so let's go on to your film now, because I don't want time to run out, because I want to spend some time on this film. Okay. I see you have wonderful actors here, and I want to talk a little bit about your film, The Fall of Night. And we want to talk about the natural side of this film and the spiritual aspects of this film. I had an opportunity to watch a trailer online, and it's riveting. It really kept me wondering what's going to happen next. The energy is like fast moving, and things are just happening all over the place. So just look out for this. So let's talk about The Fall of Night. You wrote this.
Yes.
Okay. And we heard that you just got the cast together and how you got the cast together. Okay. Now just tell me, you shot this in what period of time?
It took 15 days, and we went back for 3 days of second unit stuff, mostly opening credits.
Okay.
But there were 1 or 2 inserts, but basically we shot it in 15 days. So it was very short, very sweet,
Okay.
But that's the thing about a feature. You've got it. I mean, it's like a one-day shoot. You go out and you blow out and you stay up all night and you get the one-day shoot. Well. A feature's like 15 one-day shoots, so you have to be really prepared, and so we were.
You got the right people on your team.
The right people. Well, let me tell you. You wanted to know a little bit about the story itself.
Absolutely.
Well, let me tell you.
But before we talk about the story, I want to say this to our audience, that The Fall of Night won Best Sci-Fi Horror Film at the London Independent Film Festival, and the Bare Bones Film Festival. You also won for Best Sci-Fi Film.
Yes.
All right. Okay, now tell us about the film.
Well, the film is, people ask me, well, where did you get the idea for this? And I thought, well, part of it is I've always been intrigued with films where the character has a limited time to live, like one night to live, or the world's going to end tomorrow, or something like that.
No wonder the energy is fast moving like that.
There's this kind of because the last day of your life tends to focus your attention really clearly, and I think that type of thing. And the other thing is,
wait a minute, have you gone through an experience? Is this not autobiographical?
No, it's not.
It's just your kind.
But I've seen films like that, and it kind of puts you in the place of like, what if you had one night left, or the world was going to end tomorrow, or something like that. And I just thought, that was kind of a starting place. And the other was Twilight Zone. I love the old Twilight Zone episodes because they did things like that. They took this things and they made you think. It was all
right. So tell us a little bit, and then we're going to have a trailer in a few minutes. Sure. Tell us about the story so our audience can know what's coming up. You're going to be amazed. But tell us what it's about.
Well, the other thing is, it's about a guy, who's told he has one night left to justify what he's done with his life.
Oh, I like that.
Or he'll be dead by dawn.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, because that to me is the most horrifying thing. Is if somebody said to you, justify your life. You know, it's like, because it seems like that's all we do. We spend our whole life trying to say, well, I'm a worthwhile person, or I've lived a good life, or it's, if you had to justify your life, it's a scary thought.
Right.
And you have to justify, especially because we know all the bad things we've done. We've never lived, and how do you justify your life? And I wanted to deal with those bigger issues. The other thing was, in the story, it's basically about this rock musician. You know, he's kind of a tarnished rock musician. He's had some problems go wrong with his career. Okay. He's gotten into the wrong crowd. Yeah, we all know that. He's got into the wrong crowd, and these bikers are out to kill him because he's crossed the wrong person. So
don't give everything away now.
No, this is the setup. Okay. And what he's on the run. They're out to kill him, and his car breaks down just as he's trying to get out of L.A. He's trying to get to Vegas because somebody's going to protect him there. Okay. And his car breaks down, so it's like these guys are coming after him. His car's broken on the side of the road, and he hitches a ride in this motorhome, and this kind of eccentric guy who seems to have prophetic abilities. He knows things about the musician that he should know. He tells him, he says, look, this is your last day on earth. He says, you've got to justify what you've done with your life.
Now, will we see part of this in the trailer?
Or you'll be dead by none. You'll see, I think, a part of that.
A little snippet of it?
Yeah.
Because our time is really moving fast.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah.
All right, let's go. Well, let's take a minute and look at the trailer, and then we're going to come back and revisit this. And I also want to share this information that you brought here regarding the movie. So let's look at a trailer right now, and then we'll look at the reaction one after we have another interview. Okay.
Okay.
So let's see.
What do you mean, a vision? It's like a daydream. Except you're not dreaming, you're awake. But what you're seeing is more real than the world around you. The vision seems like it lasts for hours. But when you wake, maybe only a minute has passed.
This is not the way I plan to leave L.A.
Where'd you ever go?
My car broke down. I can really use the lift.
Oh, God. I need help.
Get in, Joe.
I know you.
You'll be safe here.
I thought you were going to Vegas. It's the middle of nowhere.
He said you'd be a musician. You are. He said you'd be from Rosita. He said the bikers are trying to kill you.
You know what happens next.
You want to die?
You're asking me to give up everything I have.
To become everything you could be.
Haven't you figured it out yet?
Can't escape judgment, son. No one can. It's your time.
And this is my judgment day. Yeah. It's regular Twilight Zone out there. No.
The Fall of Night is what you just saw. Didn't I tell you it was riveting? The energy, just watching that little trailer made me tired. But it also gives you a lot of food for thought as to what you would do if you had a short period of time to live. And I mean, I love your work and I love your cinematography. I like the storyline. Also, it's always the darkest right before you die.
Yes.
That kind of caught my eye as well. So talk a little bit more about, The Fall of Night and your journey with it. What you hope to convey?
Well, I think the concept is, we all know that life is limited. It's one of the things, you're born, that one day you're going to die. And we don't tend to try to think about it much, but the point is, what is going to happen? Where are we going to go? I was just reading today about, this, it talked about the hope of Israel. And what is the hope? The hope is that there might be some life after this that's worthwhile. And it's the dark. A lot of times you say it's always darkest right before the dawn, but the point is
that another scripture from the Bible.
Yeah. How do you know that there is a dawn? How do you know? And if you don't, if you don't believe in a God, or if you don't believe in something bigger, maybe it is darkest right before you die, or
it could be.
You know, I mean, who is the old joke line says it's always darkest right before the lights completely go out. You know, I mean, it's like, I think the thing is that what is it that gives us hope? That's what this story is about. It's a person. It's a kind of I tell people it's kind of a modern version of A Christmas Carol, but it's not set at Christmas.
Okay.
It's about a person who's forced to re-examine their whole life in the course of one night and find out what have they done with their life. And it's kind of in an entertaining way because there's this whole kind of desert landscape. I mean, in a desert, you know, you kind of have the feeling of spirits and evil spirits, and there's that whole thing going on. And you've got this con man, and you've got these eccentric characters. You got this Indian who lives out in the desert at night. And so, and you know, it's going to be coming here to the San Fernando Valley. We hope to have a theatrical release in mid-September.
Mid-September.
Yes,
okay.
and there should be a DVD release soon after that, just before Halloween, about mid-October. So
they can pretty much go online and kind of Google your information and find out when it's going to happen and where, right?
www.fallofnight.com. Fallofnight.com.
Now, I see you have a poster here.
Yes.
What is this poster here all about? Hopefully we can get a little shot.
Well, we were at the Bare Bones Film Festival, which is a fun little film festival. It's just outside Tulsa in Muskogee, Oklahoma. And this is we got an article.
Oh, this was shot in Columbia?
No, this was in. This is in the Tulsa World newspaper. This picture was shot up at Vasquez Rocks.
Okay.
Yeah, but basically, it's we got a full article in the Tulsa World. We were real excited about that, and we had these. We were just over at the Cannes Film Market in France, and this is the poster we had there at the Cannes Film Market.
Okay.
This is a shot we have of Bruce, who's kind of running away here, as you can see from the whatever.
Okay.
Whatever force it is that's chasing him.
Okay, don't want to hide your face.
Sure, no, anyway.
Nice. Okay, what else?
So that's but those are the main things I would say. And but it's going to be coming out, and the DVD should be, as I said, right before Halloween, about 2-3 weeks before Halloween. Some other things I'm doing, I'm working on a book because I teach a class over at the 168-Hour Film Festival, which is another festival.
Oh, do you? I was in that. Okay.
Yes, I teach a class on how to produce a short film in a short time, and basically that's because I'm interested in helping what would be there? Enable other filmmakers to
Well, I just want to
film.
tell our audience that the 168 Film Festival is a series of filmmakers, and they're mostly Christian filmmakers. And they do some wonderful stuff there. I mean, I've seen some of the work. As a matter of fact, I've had the opportunity to be in a couple of the films there. And I love how they take a Bible scripture and they just tell a story, And it's all about, I'm a Christian, and I'm just saying, making life better for everybody. Now, we just want to go to our reaction DVD. I just want to hear some of the people's reaction to the film. So maybe we'll get a chance to see a couple of them. So let's go to our reaction DVD now.
I thought it was great. It was fun. I loved watching it.
It's one of the coolest movies I've seen in a while. It had some very interesting spiritual ideas in it.
I just felt the film really moved.
I liked it. I really liked it. I thought that it had just such a great intensity to it. There's a part of it where you're just on the edge of your seat and you just don't know what's happening next.
I loved it. I usually like chick flicks, but this just kept my attention.
I liked the whole movie, and I'm not much of into horror thriller movies, but I thought it was good.
What I liked about the film is that I just think it worked.
A lot of action basically held your attention all the way through the screen. It's just the pace, the speed of the film.
So I really enjoyed how it kept my attention.
It kept my attention the whole time, and what was really interesting was that it kept all the kids' attention. They were glued to the screen. They loved it, and that's the real thing.
It was just so cool looking around, seeing how everybody's just leaning in more and more.
So there's very powerful things to be able to evaluate, look through, to explore with people.
It was cool. It made you think, and you're like, what's going on with the vision?
I think the other thing that this
film has going for it too, is it offers a critique of like a stereotypical evangelical Christian perspective.
I definitely enjoy films that do keep my mind working, and so I did find it entertained me, but also made me think.
And it wasn't too like preachy, but it also like got the message across.
Because me just seeing this, it changed a lot. It touched a lot. Like I just want to talk and talk and talk because it meant a lot.
I would definitely tell my friends to come see it, the Christian friends and the non-Christian friends.
I would definitely recommend it. I'd say it's very thought-provoking.
I tell them that it was a film that could show their Christian kids and their pre-Christian kids.
Yeah, I told my friends to come and see it. I'm going to tell them it was really good.
Youth group leaders need to let their kids watch this. It's PG, I suppose, but it's worth seeing, and I think the kids would really benefit from seeing it.
I can't wait till it comes out on video because I'm going to buy it. I really am. It's a great movie.
Okay, now, those are testimonies from the fall of the night, so that just kind of speaks for itself. Now, Derrick, just before we wrap up here, I just want to ask you what advice, I know you're teaching this class for people who want to become filmmakers, and what advice could you give to a budding filmmaker, writer, producer, etc.? Just some quick tips that you can give.
Well, I think the big thing is just the old Nike thing, just do it. I mean, the point is, when all's been said and done, a lot more has been said than done.
Okay.
You know, and I think the thing is that I've run across so many people who talk about making films and talk about making films and talk about making films, and they don't do it.
Okay.
I mean, go out, make the mistakes. I mean, I told people when I was working on this, they said, well, you can't do that. Oh, you won't be able to use green screen. You don't know enough about this. You're never going to have the budget. And I just said, well, I kept telling people, it's an experiment. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's an experiment. You know, and I think you just have to have that attitude that you just go out and you do it. The people who get things done are the people just willing to take a chance and maybe look a little foolish.
Okay. The thing is, just do it. And along with that, I just want to add, have faith in your ability. And know that you're going to have some stumbling blocks, but learn how to jump over them. Okay? I just want to share a little quick poem with you from my book, Words in Action. It's called Dreams. Dreams are the substance of hopes, desires, and wishes. You may dream a dream for a week, a month, or even a year. But no matter what, in order for that dream to materialize, you must wake up spiritually and naturally, even through tears. Too often people speak of yesterday's dreams. Dreams come and do not manifest themselves. Once you're aware of your dream, you must act. Else it becomes just a dream on which you sat. As you heard Derrick say a few minutes ago, just do it. Have faith. And I want to say thank you so much for coming, Derrick. It was such a pleasure having you here. And look out for The Fall of the Night, coming to a theater near you soon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to Breaking Through with E.P. It was a pleasure. And look out for our next show. It's going to be equally exciting as Mr. Derrick was.